Welcome back. This video is going to focus on how we decided to elect our presidents. So in the Constitutional Convention of 1787, there were a whole bunch of different proposals on how we should choose the president of the United States. Keep in mind that nobody else had really done this president thing before. So there was no example or precedent for us to look to in order to set up our system. So there were a couple different proposals. The first one dealt, of course, with the direct popular vote. So the idea behind this was that everyone who was eligible to vote in the United States, which at this time was basically white men who owned property, that they would get together and they would vote on who they wanted to be president. Okay, and the person who won the majority of those votes would become president. There were a few issues with this, though. We were concerned, we meaning the founding fathers, were concerned about whether or not the public should be trusted with something as important as electing the president. Okay, they were also concerned with the probability that someone would win a majority of the votes. Okay, we didn't have Twitter and Facebook and all of that kind of stuff back in 1787, so there was some concern about how a candidate would be able to be well known across the states. So, like if you lived in Georgia, people who know you in Georgia might vote for you for president, but people in New York aren't going to know who you are. So there was that concern. So the second option was this electoral college situation. So basically, the instead of going and voting for a president or a candidate for office, people would essentially vote for electors, and those electors would then make that decision. And that's what we came up with, and that's what we're using today. So whenever someone says your votes don't count when we're talking about the presidential election, yeah, they do. But as we'll talk about in class, your votes help determine the electoral vote. Okay, so if I go to the polls in November and I vote for the candidate for the Coffee Coalition, okay, if that's even a thing, which it's not, wouldn't that be cool? Anyway, so I'm not actually voting for that candidate. I am casting my vote basically to tell the electors from the Coffee Coalition Party that they need to go and vote for that person in December, which is actually when the electors vote. We'll do a couple different activities on this in class to help clear this up, but the Electoral College is what makes, or who chooses the president, and that is part of our indirect democracy or our republic, where we elect people to make decisions for us. If you have any questions, let me know.